This is Raid on St Nazaire on the 2 or Less channel. I got myself a copy a couple of months ago, and at a price I was more than happy to part with. It comes with an unpunched set of counters. They shall remain so. It comes with a virginal untouched rulebook. It shall remain so. I've been photocopying and printing to my heart's content, and I've played the game twice through since then. But I've also made up the set of Philip Santa Maria counters that we're going to be using for this game, and some Axis and Allies pieces to add some rock and roll and some atmosphere to this game too. The rules aren't difficult. I won't be doing a rules run through because other people have done that, and there's been a couple of mistakes in the rule run through, but that happens all the time because there are certain rules, little caveats buried in a large section. You have to kind of look through a little bit harder than the first run through, and my first 2 run throughs have been making mistakes. So I made myself a couple of copies, crib sheets that I've made up myself, and a logbook. Now I've changed the colour of the regular. This is the standard print, but I've managed to change the colour into a blue on black. Both of those go up onto BGG. Download them yourself, have some fun with them if you want to. The reason why I'm using blue on black, the old mince pies find it easier when I'm crossing off the number of casualties and guns and hits and whatever, to put a black pencil on blue rather than black on black. It's just my particular preference. As I said to you, I won't be doing a rules run through. That's for other people to do. But if you find I've made a mistake in this playthrough, please point it out to me in the comments below. It'll benefit me and other people in the future. So, before we get going, may I mention that I make these videos in aid of a charity called Cure Parkinson's. You can guess what they're trying to do. There's a link to them in this video and one in the About section on the channel page, because YouTube have moved where it gets put now. If you happen to have a spare $1, euro, yen, yak, or a World War I destroyer, you could send to them. I'm sure they'd appreciate it. And why is it a World War I destroyer? Because that was the one that the Brits borrowed from the Americans and disguised as a German World War II destroyer. If you know the story of St Nazaire, then you understand all that. If you don't know the story of St Nazaire and don't want to go through this whole playthrough with me, because we're going to do a whole playthrough, check out the videos on YouTube. Jeremy Clarkson did a really interesting piece on the St Nazaire raid, and it was quite poignant when the guys are pointing out their thoughts of whether they would be coming home or not on that particular night. Very, very interesting program. I salute every guy that was on there. Absolute heroics that happened on that evening. So let's turn around the other side of the camera. We'll go through a virtual complete run through over a number of videos. Obviously, if I've got to roll 12 dice 12 times, there's no point in you seeing all that, but we'll get this through as thoroughly and as jointly together as we can do. Okay, I'm all set up now. I may have bitten off more than I can chew, but go big or go to the butcher's and buy me a pound of sausages. That's what I always say. Up here is the German units, which are going to be the infantry coming in at various stages throughout the game. The Brits are playing the commando team, and our Italian friends are playing the commando's demolition side of the squad, just for want of keeping the colours separate. We've got all our boats in the harbour here. They're just roughly placed there, and we've got some guns on the gun places, etc. Let's get on with playing the game. Well, there's my movement marker to remind me not to move over speed on the first couple of turns. First thing we have to do is roll the dice for the illumination phase. These don't get repaired because they're already in fine feather before they start. This gun here, 412, will automatically point into the approach zone on turn number 1. It's part of the prerequisite rules. And this one will also go into there as well, I believe. Now, we have to roll for these other 2 searchlights. One's down here. Got my dice tray. You have to trust me that I'm rolling these correctly because my dice tray is just there. We've got a 5, which is going to be a this light will be shining into zone C, which will be just into here. And then this one up here, I've rolled a 3. 1, 2, 3 means it goes into zone number 4, which is its own area as well. Oh, talking of which, there was I don't want to explain the rules to you at this game. We'll find the rules as we play this game. But there's been some confusion, and it caught me out first time round. about how this numbering system works. It took me a little while to fathom it out because you've got these numbers in white and some of them are in black. What it represents is the black numbers are numbers that you are never going to roll, because when you roll to place units down and put equipment down, it's always going to be a conglomeration of your two dice numbers. So it's going to be a 1 up until a 6. It's like a 6 decimal system, if you like. You can't get lower than 1, you can't get higher than a 6. So these numbers were here will only ever roll up from a 1 until a 6 maximum. The 4, the starting number here is the zone it's going to be in, a 4, a 3, a 2 or a 1. But that's the reason why some are black and some are white. And if you do follow down these numbers, you will actually find there is a sequence to them. But it took me a little while to fathom this out, and staring at the board for a good half an hour before my brain kicked into gear. Let's get on with playing the game. Sorry. We've now got the lights shining where we want to shine them. We now have to roll the first bit of harbour defence, which is going to be firing at the approaching fleet in here. The first attack will go onto the Campbelltown, which is up here, represented by this German destroyer. It's really a Brit in disguise, as we know. We haven't got to roll for a hit because it will automatically hit dice tray in front of us. Let's see what damage it's going to do. It is going to do a 7. On our combat chart, a 7 is evade and multiple casualties. That chart up there. It's the same as on my sheet down here, which is my crib sheet that I'm going to be using and putting up onto BGG. Let me mark that down. I'm going to get on with the rest of the 12 shots potentially that will go on in a minute. So the evade doesn't happen for the Campbelltown, but the multiple casualty does. We rolled a 5. We've taken 3 guys on our crew and 1 each on Roy and Roderick's commando crew up there as well. Let's now roll the triad. The first of up to 12 die rolls, which may affect guys in the approach zone here. The first one we roll is going to be a 6. Actually, that is incredible first roll. The 6 would be a miss. It has to be 5 or less to be a miss, but we have a light. The light will turn a miss into a hit. It can only be used once. It is boat number 15. Boat number 15, I believe, is going to be Irwin, which is the torpedo boat. Yes, it is. We're going to put the marker on Irwin there to say it's our target. We're now going to roll the damage, making sure we put the light on there. You're supposed to put it the other way up so it can't be used again, but it's pretty obvious to me it can't be used again. It's on that boat. The damage that's going to be done will be a 5. A 5 damage is going to be a turn away and multiple casualties. Let me mark that down. I'll see you in a sec. So Irwin's multiple casualty roll was a 2. He doesn't have any commanders on there to take that, so I have to put 2 onto the crew. There he is there with his turn away and the light marker on him. So the next roll we get, that now goes up to a number 1 on the shots taken, because it's an official shot. But remember, we roll the 6, we can't use that light again. We roll, well, 111. It is going to be a definite hit on boat number 1T1, which would be the Campbelltown. So we put our marker up on the Campbelltown. We put our turn marker onto 2 shots taken. We'll see what damage the Campbelltown takes this time. It's going to take a 9. 5 and 4 is 9, which is evade. Evade doesn't apply to the Campbelltown. Nice. So shot number 3 will be a miss. Already these dice are rolling high. That would go on to boat number 46, which would be down here, but it's a miss, and we cannot use this light a second time. That is the end of the up to 12 shots. The Allied fleet, the British fleet coming through there, have got away with that with very little damage. That's the first time in the 3 games I've played that we've had so little damage done to the British fleet. Lovely. Let me look at the next bit. Okay, covering fire phase now. We, as the British, the Royal We, have to roll a number less than a 7 with a cumulative +1 modifier for each shot we take. There's various different places we can shoot at, but basically anything that can hit us, we can hit them. It's a very rough rule. This light here will now act into here for their part of their returning fire. And I think what the Brits are going to do is they're going to target this gun here, because it's on one of the landing areas. I should explain that these crew here in the green boat are all landing, I think it's on this zone, and the white boats are all going to try and land up on the further zone up here, as per the crew that they're carrying on board. This is the one exception. He's here with this. That's the way it is on the logbook. But he goes with this fleet down here, down around. You'll find out in a minute. Let's roll to see if we can hit less than 7. It's those two cumulative less than a 7, and this one here is the damage that will be done provided we do get a shot of less than 7 on this first roll. Move our shots taken marker into the right place, and oh wow. Well below our number here, we've got a 4, which is plenty low enough, plus our damage on our table on the covering fire result, damage of 2 is a sinking. That must be the wrong table we're using. Which one do we want to use? Let me find what table we're going to use. It's going to be over here somewhere. Oh, it's on that one. It's the effect. Number 1 is destroyed. Oh wow, we've destroyed that gun straight away, even if I didn't know what I was doing because I was looking in the wrong blooming place for it. It's got to be on there somewhere. Oh, there it is, there next door. Okay, that's our first shot done. We do get any number of shots, but this modifier, this +1 modifier, will limit the number of shots we can take. Where are we going to go next? I think if we can lessen the number of guns that are either in A or Zone B, that's not capable of firing into Zone A, so I don't think we can actually target that one. Why don't we try and take out some of these guys here, or maybe even the searchlight, which if we can take this searchlight out, it's going to lessen the chances of damage that could be done later on to us. So we're going to target this with our second shot. Again, looking at less than a 7, but with our that's me dropping the dice, +1 modifier. I don't usually roll left-handed, it's unusual for me. Quite clearly, we've rolled above our 7 +1. We've maxed out on that. Even if the damage was quite a good damage shot, that would have been a out of action marker, but we've actually blown our shot now. So that light stays in place. That is the end of the covering fire phase. So on to the German Dockside defence phase. They have 1 gun into Zone A, 2 into Zone A, 3 into Zone A, 4 into Zone A, and 5 into Zone A, flipping them to already fired because they're about to do their firing. Even though the stuff is in approach, this is part of the special 0-28 hours turn, or turn number 1. We get 12 rolls. We have to roll 5 or less. If we roll more than a 5, then it's going to be a miss. But we do have this modifier, this -1 that could apply if the searchlight turns a miss into a hit. Let's roll the first one. It is a 1. It's plenty enough to hit something. It is going to be boat number 31, which will be Wallace. Where's my marker? Which will be Wallace over here. Damage done to Wallace is going to be an 8. 8 on our chart is evade and casualties. Let me stick that down and then come back to you in a sec. Okay, that was shot number 1 of the harbour defence. There's our evade marker on here. We're on to shot number 2, and this is Wallace with his casualty taking 1 hit on one of his crew members. One thing I didn't mention that I did do, but forgot to mention it, is when you take damage on one of your commander units, you must roll less than their available strength to see whether they lose some ammo. These guys here actually didn't lose any ammo, but I just remembered to mention it. Let's do roll number 2. Again, it's these we've got to roll less than a 5. 1 second. Sorry, there was an annoying fly in here just going around. Yeah, we've got to roll less than a 5 because there's 5 guns capable of firing in this area. Even if there's more than 5, that's the maximum we can use on this table is 5. Shot number 2 will be another hit. It will be versus boat number 1-5, which I think is going to be... It's going to be one that's already been hit, Irwin. That could be unfortunate. Let's see what happens to him anyway. It's a 10, a massive 10, which is multiple casualties. We take care of that. Okay, before we get too far, multiple casualties requires a second dice roll to see how many casualties there were. On Irwin's boat, there were 2 on there from a previous round, from the first time he was hit. This time it's a 5 hit. That's not going to be very good because Irwin here has already lost 2 of its crew, 5 casualties now. Bump, bump, bump. Irwin's boat, which is one of our torpedo boats, got a T next to it, has been knocked out. That is not good. Not good at all. So with the crew taken out of Irwin's boat here, it's effectively sunk. It's sinking on its way down. Nothing we can do about that. We really wouldn't have minded keeping hold of that boat. Let's go for roll number 3 of the 12 maximum. It's a 5. Again, it's a legal hit. It's going to be targeting boat number 62, which is going to be Rodier. Let me roll damage on Rodier. It is going to be a 6, which will be turn away and a knockout. Turn away puts a turn away marker onto Rodier's boat with his crewmate Haynes there, or his crew of Haynes, his commando unit. And the knockout takes out 1 crew down here and 1 of the guns on there and 1 of the guns from our flotilla gun display. That's quite important for later on as the flotilla loses its strength. Let me mark all that down, come back to you. So that's Rodier with his turn away marker. We're going to shot number 4. Let's see if it's an illegal shot. Anything below a 6 will be... Oh! That wasn't scripted, but the 6 gets turned into a 5 because we have this searchlight on here. It's the last time we can use it on this turn. We have a boat number 24. 24 will be Falconer's boat just up here. Put a marker onto that one there. And it will be a damage of a 3, which is fire, fire, multiple casualties. Oh my god. Multiple casualties. Let me roll dice for that. Do I do roll dice for multiple casualties? Yes, we do. It is a 5. I shall assign all that and get back to you in a second when I got the old hoses out. Well, the crew on board Falconer's boat Hodgson here have taken 2 damage. They haven't lost any ammunition here, but we must now flip that boat down to its reduced speed because it's on fire. Big petrol tank on the back waiting to go up. And obviously a fire token acts in a similar way to the light with modifier dice should that be the next boat to be hit or a boat to be hit again. Let's roll turn number 5, maximum of 12 here. We've got a 4, another legal shot onto boat number 41, which is going to be Boyd. Where's my target gone? There it is there. 41 Boyd. Damage to Boyd will be a 10, which will be a multiple casualties. I shall roll that dice again. It's going to be just a 1. Mark it off, see you in a sec. Okay, quick reshuffle there because I hadn't put the light onto Falconer's boat from previous times. I remembered that just at the last second here. So shot number 6 will be onto a successful shot. It will go on to boat number 55, which will be Fenton's boat down here. It will be doing 8 damage to Fenton's boat, which is a evade and a casualty. Okay, shot number 7. I have got my numbers right. If I've rolled 1 too many or 2 less, then sue me. Let's roll the dice, see if it's a hit. It is a hit. It's a legal shot onto boat number 24, which will be the on fire Falconer. It's on fire just down there. another fire one, it will explode. And we've got a 9, which is evade. Well, it's not going to do much anyway, other than evade, try to run away. Let's do number 8, shot number 8, which is a 4 again. This dice rolls a 4 all the time. I'm going to have to change it. It's going to be onto boat number 61, which is going to be Rodia here, which is going to be a 7, which will be evade and multiple casualties. Let me sort that one out. So Rodier was already turning away anyway. He's lost a couple of crew members there from the multiple casualties. But again, no ammo's been lost. And actually, let's look at this chart here. We haven't lost any more than the 1 gun from our flotilla gun display. Quite unusual. Previous turns, or previous couple of playthroughs, I've lost loads of guns all the time. Let's roll number 9. It's a miss. Finally, we get a miss there. That is the end of the dockside defence phase, because we can't modify that 6 unless it's onto one of these on fire boats, because that actually does still count as being a modification if it's a hit. 25 is collier next door to the on fire boat. So if it was on that boat there, the fire would actually modify that number, but it hasn't done. So we have actually ended that phase. He says, waffling like a waffly thing who waffles. Let me get back to you on the start of the next phase. Okay, we're on to the naval movement phase here. There's various different things involved in the speed that the boats can move at. Being reduced by being an invade marker on them reduces their speed by 1, or a turn away reduces their speed by 2. Maximum movement speed so far is 2 in the first couple of turns. That's just part of the gaming will stop you flying through at 90 miles an hour. But I should do all that off camera, but what we're going to be doing is taking the wind torpedo boat, sticking it up into Avant Port, have a pop at these locks. It would cost him 1 movement factor to get into here and 1 to get into there. Means he can't fire this time round. It might be a little bit brave sticking him in here early, but brave is my middle name. Well, it's not, but it sounds like it. Let's also go and move these destroyers here, so they can move into here and fire against this spear breaker here, which they will be doing, and the rest of these boats will be moving through as much as they can, probably getting most of them into zone B. Quite unusual for me so far, because as I said to you before, that there's been little damage done by the initial firing. Yes, that harbour defence is a little bit brutal, but it hasn't been too bad. Let me do that off camera and I'll see you in a second. Okay, things have all been moved through into place now. These guys here are going to try and go across and get into 366 or ram the Cassion, the harbour gates up here with the Campbell Town. We got Win up into here 2 spaces. It's going to have a shot at these lock gates later on. Hasn't got enough movement factors this time around. We've only got 1 shot against the spear breaker here. Boyd moved 1 factor in and will take 1 shot with 1 dice. The other guy here, Fenton, with his torpedo boat, he's only got enough movement to get in there and not take the shot. So I thought I'd just keep this space empty. It may pay dividends later on. Nock hasn't moved in with the empty boat. He can pick people up. He's not going to pick up these guys that are on fire and an invade. It's Hodgson's commando crew. We think that even though they maybe get a little bit tardy, a little bit slow in getting there, if they can avoid getting hit again and move into here and into here, they can drop people off on this landing zone, which is actually relieved of its gun because we blew that up in the covering fire phase. So let me grab my dice tray with my other hand, swapping hand over. We've got to roll 1 dice on our torpedo chart here. If we roll the dice and it's a 1 or a 2, we'll be well chuffed because we will destroy this boat. Hey! We've rolled a 1, which means not only have we destroyed the spear breaker, we've knocked out both the guns that were on it as well. So that is victory points for us as well. It means we can save this Fenton's boat for later on. Let me tie yours up. I'm so chuffed with that. I'll be flipping back over these already fired debris, and seeing, I think it's going to be the German movement phase next, or German alarm phase next. Let me get myself all straight. That's a brilliant dice roll. Things are a bit more tidy now. We've gone to the German activation phase. It is a 2-die number modified by the activation turn number, referred to a table to give us how many units we're going to put on. So it's a 2-die roll, giving us, 12. Nice. -3 takes us down to 9. 9 on this table over here means there's going to be 7 German units alarmed by the catastrophe taking place. Wow. So here's me cup of random doobies. I've got to draw 7 guys out of here and roll to see where they go to. We'll roll the dice first. It's a regular triad type of roll. It's going to be zone number 4 and space 21. So we go to 4, 21, there's 22, there's 4, 21. So the first guy we pull out at random, 421, is going to be a little lowly 2-strength unit. I shall repeat that 6 more times and get back to you shortly. Okay, this is the Germans. So they've been put onto the board, raised by the alarms. As you can see, 3 of these guys have all gone into this outside zone, this reinforcement area, rolling 666, 665 and 663 to get them in there. Amazing dice rolls, but that's all done. As far as I'm concerned now, the rest of this list will say German land movement with British Commander land movement, demolition and a consolidation where we will make these units bigger and tougher. But there's no more actual action going to go on. I'm pretty sure that's the end of the shortened first turn, because none of these commander units have actually landed anywhere to get involved in any of the fighting. So I think that is it for turn number 1. I'm going to slide it up there to turn number 2, ready for next time. And it'll be the end of video number 1, unless I review what I've done and see I've made some monumental cock up and I've got to come back to you. But I think that's it. I will see you in turn number 2, video number 2, coming up sometime shortly.